All right, everybody, welcome back. Started working on the pole, and I want to get this done and get the rudder control. I want to get that put in too. I think I decided I'm going to run them both off the same servo, which it ain't going to overstress it at all. I got them both through the control horn. I have a receiver with a battery. Got my receiver under here to make sure the servo is centered. But I need to put another. I just have the wire run to the back. It's not crimped back there, but this one is crimped. This one side is crimped. I'm going to crimp the other side. Small crimps. I got it all hooked. Got screws through it. I put it down to the bottom so it doesn't rub back here. The wire won't rub on the back of this and chafe it or nothing. So that's why they're upside down. But it's not going to get affected by, they're not going to hit the servo or nothing. So I got to put one of these on. So I did Loctite these screws. I might cut some of the protruding top of them off, the screw that comes up. But I gotta put this through the little eye hole here. Figure out where I want it. See here, see I got it going through there. Bend it over where you want it. Put it through your collar. See that? It's through the collar. Grab your pair of pliers. Grab my pair of pliers. Put that far up on right there. And go ahead and crimp it. You really want to make sure this is crimped so the wires don't pull out of it. These are aluminum ones, so they actually crimp pretty easy. That's why I'm just using a little, these short, small needle nose. And these little eyes, grab another one here. These little eyes here. I actually take a drill bit, a little bit bigger, and spin it on just a little bit on the end to take the corner off, because it's actually going to be sharp, and I've had it cut through one of my wires before. So I rounded the edge a little bit with the drill bit on each side. I just wanted to make sure I told you that, because I have had one break off because of the sharpness on those corners. They do come sharp. Just a little tip there. Remove this servo. So I can get this back through here. Okay. Put it back where you want it. I'll run it to the back. Feed it through here. Make sure you're not tangled. You don't get it tangled around nothing or through nothing it's not supposed to be. Fish it to the back. See how I come up through here? Now you want to make sure you don't go over that. Make sure you go through there. Look through, make sure everything's good. Make sure your wire's not twisted like it is back here. Pulled straight. Here we go. And these tubes are still loose. I haven't tightened them up yet or glued them. Alright, and I'm just sticking it through the end where it goes to where I'm going to hook it to. That's all I'm doing. You can see that the wires are just stuck through the eye hole. That's not how I'm going to leave it. I'm just wanting to show it. I want to make sure I look back, make sure the wire's not crimped, twisted. There's a little bit right there. I want to flatten that out. Just take your hand and rub it a little bit. It might have a little bit. The wire might come down and go like that. You want to make sure it's straight. Get all of your kinks out of it. where the wire goes to your eye hook, make sure it's not like off to the side or up in front and pull, you know, make sure it's straight coming back. It sucks when you crimp them and then find out that they're a little messed up. So I'm still getting over my cold. I actually had to go into the emergency the other day because my throat was just, it was sore. I couldn't take it no more. Usually I can take pain really well. It wasn't that it was like overly sore, it just, I wanted this over with. So I went in, was it emergency care or whatever at night, went in there. They tested me for COVID, tested me for the flu, and they were supposed to test me for some respiratory thing, for 3 things. And my wife did too. She just had a little bit of a sore throat. And COVID negative. Flu negative. And then they didn't, I guess they didn't test for the other one, they said. But they told us they were gonna. So I think my wife's a little ticked off about that. So as far as we know, but they gave me Claritin. The prescription for Claritin was just the same as the over-counter. Benadryl, same as the over-counter stuff. And they gave me a steroid, which you can't get over the counter. And it's gonna happen to anybody. It's gonna happen to me. So I have some screws here. That looks like I knocked them down. So do the same thing I did in the front. I think I'm going to put it upside down. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here. Maybe I'll move you. Well, now you're recording. Everything I just did, it was done on a donkey. I thought the camera was rolling, I'm sorry. I was telling everybody, I pulled these all back, did all this on camera, both sides. And I messed up. Didn't realize I wasn't recording. I crimped these. I come up from the bottom. The nuts are on the bottom. These are locking with the nylon locking little nuts. I also put Loctite on them too. I was saying on video, which I thought it was, when I did the first side, I actually had this cocked a little bit. So then when I put this side in, it straightened it out when you pulled it tight. Okay, not really, just a little bit. And that gives your wires a little more strength. Like these wires are going to stretch a little bit, so that's why you want to try to get it as tight as you can when you do it first. And then I was also saying, what else was I saying? Oh, if I find my cutters, snip off some of this extra here so it doesn't get into tubes. Throw those away. And these tubes aren't glued yet. I was explaining that off video. I haven't glued them yet. I haven't figured out where I'm going to put them. Got my receiver here. You see how that turns? You don't want it overturning. That's plenty. If you turn too much and then, you know, and your rudder's turn, your rudder's different. You might want that more for like a crosswind, but your tail wheel you don't want coming real far out, because if you hit down, it'll whip the plane around. If the tail wheel can hit and drag it around, you don't want that. So, rudders run, cables are done. They're going to need to be tightened. They're a little loose, but good enough for now. I didn't do anything this week to it. I haven't done nothing else, but I'm going to bring you back up here. I'm going to do this pull for the, see it down here moving, for the rudder. The rudder ain't on there. There ain't even a thing coming through it or nothing. So I'm gonna move you up there and get you going on that one. All right, we're back up here. Pole. I haven't epoxied no more from back there when you guys saw me do it the other day. And I want to put this on the same servo. See this rod, I gotta cut it down, run it through here. I might cut it a little long to make sure this is gonna work. I guess that don't really matter. I got a whole bunch of this now. So I'm gonna cut this off. We wired a nut on there. I'm not prepared for you guys. Spin a nut on it before you cut it. I should have came from the other way, but you guys know it's not how we roll here. Always do stuff backwards. All right, that was spinning up too. All right, I gotta figure out where I was going to cut it again. I want it a little long. All right, we're going to cut it right there. I'm just going to take a pair of cutters and cut it. All right, I actually cut it pretty good. I'm going to take it to my Dremel and straighten it out and round the corners of it. That Dremel I have permanently mounted on the end of my bench, and it's got the wire that extends out, but it won't reach all the way over here. To show you, I just took it and rounded it a little bit. So now the nut, when it spins off, you can make sure that the teeth aren't messed up on it. Spin that off there. Spin right off. Good. Now, getting this through there, into there, and through there. It's going to be fun. I gotta thread that in there. I don't want to unhook that end. Might speed this up. I'm gonna mark it to make sure I know I'm going in. I'm pretty sure I am. Yeah, I am. So I'm actually, once I get it in there, I'm gonna put some epoxy on the end of this. Maybe even thread it in a little bit more afterwards. I want to get it up to that black mark. Oh yeah, she's getting hard. I don't think it's gonna come out of there. All right. Let's see how we want to do this. Well, just drop it in there. That's all right. Okay. Trying to see how much I have threaded in the back here. I think it looks pretty good. So where I want it. That's I said the fun thing of spreading this and get over that control at the same time. These things are a pain to spread. Let me try a screwdriver.
Inactivity alarm. Inactivity alarm. Inactivity alarm.
Yep, I know. You told me.
Inactivity alarm. Inactivity alarm.
There. What the heck? Oh, it's fitting on the side of that wood. Gonna have to grind that out of there. That looks pretty good back there. So I guess I'm gonna have to run my drill mold sitting on the wood right there on the side. And that's gonna I didn't tell you, normally when I do a pull, I cross it too. But with using the same servo, you can't cross I usually cross the wires on the pull. You know, they might rub a little bit. I've never had one of those break like that. But when you're using the same servo, I'd have to run the servo all the way to this side. Instead of this side, this control, I'd have to cross that too to get it to work the way I want it to. If I would have crossed the pull wire, you'd actually have to cross this too which I didn't do because then it would have hit the wires. So just, you know, something to think about. I guess if I would have ran it on a curve over there slowly, back behind the pole, it would have been fine. But I would have had to. I already epoxied it in, so I should have did that on camera the other day. The back parts of it, anyways. Like now I can. Now that it's working, I can do up here now, or up closer to it. Because you want this end to move a little bit, be able to move. And I want to take you back there. I wanted to drop the tail wheel down and show you how it sags and the pole sags away. All right, let's see if we can get this retract to go. I still don't have the mains yet, so that means I don't have the controller. So I'm still touching the wires, reversing them to get it to go down. Don't really recommend it. Kind of expensive if you fuck it up, or mess it up, excuse me. So now the wires are hanging. They're just hanging there. They're not gonna hurt nothing. But yet the rest of my rudder will still work like it's supposed to. So I mean, you could have put another pole back to this rudder, but man, would that have been tight getting down in there and trying to do it. You can see how it still moves. And then it's kind of nice because now I don't have an extra servo in it. That's the whole reason I do it. Try to keep the weight off as much as you can off these things. So, you know, if you're putting extra support in and stuff, like I was saying before, sometimes you just don't want that extra weight in them. And see, which works again.